So I hate to even ask you about Islam Makhachev, and I'm only going to do so in the context of something you said to us when we were getting ready to call your fight against Sean Brady. You had all these positive things to say about Islam. You weren't at all thinking about the possibility of getting asked about him as a future opponent, and you talked about his humility and just how great he was, you know. And now it seems like maybe there's some sort of holdup. Have you known him to be desirous of becoming a double champion prior, maybe more than trying to go down as like the greatest lightweight champ of all time?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it. We said it, and he's, oh man, you ruined my plans. It's one of those things like, oh, you won the belt, you ruined my plans.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, where there's people now, they're waiting.
Belal Muhammad stuns fans by publicly telling Islam Makhachev to stop stalling and sign a fight, hinting he's tired of the lightweight champ riding his success.
To see what happens this weekend, but I tell them, like, I would get your fight signed, because I'm not leaving Montreal without the belt. I'm still gonna be the champ. So start your camp right now. Whoever you have in line, whoever you have in store, you're good.
With UFC 315 just days away, the welterweight champion didn't mince his words. Confident as ever ahead of his clash with Dela Maddalena, Muhammad made it clear that Makachev shouldn't wait around to see how the main event unfolds. Instead, he encouraged the lightweight kingpin to move forward and book his next fight, regardless of the outcome in Montreal.
Islam and you, there's no chance that would ever happen, right? Because of your guys' friendship?
Yeah, 100%.
He wants to be double champ. That's one of his goals, right? So I guess it's like a touchy.
Yeah, exactly. And then for myself,
this comment wasn't just a casual call-out. It reflected the complex and evolving relationship between two of the UFC's top champions, as well as the tangled state of both the lightweight and welterweight divisions. While Makachev has made waves with his aspirations of becoming a two-division champion, he finds himself at a crossroad. The Russian superstar already holds the 155-pound belt, but has set his eyes on the 170-pound title as well.
Would you move to welterweight for the double champ status eventually at some point?
This is my dream, you know, this is my dream, but we have Belal there. He's gonna defend his belt soon, but with Belal we have same manager, Ali. We will sit and talk, you know. This is my dream to be double champ, you know. I don't want to leave this sport before I take second belt.
Both fighters have expressed zero interest in facing each other inside the octagon, making the idea of Makachev becoming a champ a bit more complicated. Still, Makachev is keeping his options open, seemingly waiting to see what happens at UFC 315 before making a move. If Dela Maddalena manages to pull off an upset and take the belt from Muhammad, that might be all the opening Makachev needs to pursue gold in a second division.
I want to be double champ because not make sense give the chance third time from the some guy. Okay, I beat the Volkanovski twice. People still say you beat small guy. If I beat Topuria, it's gonna be the same. If I go up, takes a second belt, this is a legacy.
However, Muhammad isn't too worried about that scenario. His confidence heading into UFC 315 is sky high, and he's already brushing aside the possibility of defeat. Speaking boldly ahead of his showdown in Montreal, he reassured everyone that he has no plans to leave the arena without the belt. While fans and analysts anticipate a grappling-heavy performance from the champ, things took a twist when Muhammad revealed he doesn't even plan to shoot a single takedown. Instead, he wants to go toe-to-toe and attempt a knockout over one of the UFC's most dangerous strikers.
I'm going to go in there, I'm going to outbox Jack, I'm not going to shoot one takedown, and I'm going to show him the meaning of Canelo hands. I'm going to show the UFC fighters, the fans, that I'm the best boxer in the UFC, the best boxer in the welterweight division. Trust me, you guys want to tune in, don't miss it.
25 minutes later, and unanimous decision, Belal Muhammad.
That announcement added even more intrigue to a matchup that was already brimming with tension. Dela Maddalena, Australia's rising star, is coming off a string of impressive wins and has yet to taste defeat in the UFC. He's confident in his striking and believes he has the tools to not only beat Muhammad, but to finish him. His mindset heading into the fight is aggressive. He's vowed to come in guns blazing and push the pace from the opening bell.
What do you think of Belal Muhammad as a champion? And be honest, what do you think of his fight style?
There's no question, he's got a boring fight style, you know. He's good at holding people down, getting victories, but across the board, you know, he can hold down the strikers, he can outstrike the grapplers.
How do you rate his striking?
I think he's fast. He's not, I wouldn't say he's dangerous, I definitely think he's fast, you know. I think his threat of the takedown makes his striking better. Definitely think it's a boring style, but I mean, I think winning is obviously his #1 goal, and fair play to him, but I feel like I can beat him. I'm a more dangerous fighter for sure. And not only get the world title, we get the world title off a dominant finish.
While some may see Dela Maddalena as the underdog, he doesn't carry himself like one. He respects Muhammad's resume and skills, but he truly believes this is his moment. His journey, which started with a rocky 0-2 professional record, has transformed into a 7-0 run in the UFC, capped by a knockout victory over Gilbert Burns. Now, the Aussie is one win away from becoming a world champion and possibly facing Islam Makhachev for his first title defense.
This sort of rhetoric from Belal Muhammad, and Belal's gonna break you after a few rounds. What would you say in response to that?
That's the fight. Who's going to break first? That's what this battle's about. He's pretty well-rounded. He's able to hold people down. I definitely feel like I've got the better striking. I do think I've got some good grappling that he might be not prepared for. So I might try and be able to pull out a submission at some point if he lays on me for too long. We'll see who breaks first. I'm going to take my opportunity and I'm going to take the belt, and then they can all come to me.
Can JDM submit Belal Muhammad at UFC 315?
Dela Maddalena has even begun calling out Makachev, saying he'd welcome the opportunity to face him, preferably on a UFC card in Australia. He isn't looking past Muhammad, but he's clearly planning for the future. With UFC President Dana White and the matchmakers watching closely, the result of this fight could open doors for a clash between Dela Maddalena and Makachev that fans didn't see coming.
I wanted to talk to you. Obviously, you had a big week at the UFC. Some crazy stuff went down. With Ilia moving up to lightweight, vacating the title. You weren't able to announce it then, but is it safe to say that Ilia Islam is the fight that we're sort of working towards, or could he be fighting?
There's still other possibilities. So there's a lot of shit going on right now.
Still, Muhammad doesn't believe that future will ever come to pass, at least not at his expense. He's trained too hard, come too far, and sacrificed too much to let go of his title so soon. Unlike many fighters who talk their way into fights or rely on drama to generate buzz, Muhammad has built his legacy through relentless pressure, elite conditioning, and a wrestling game that suffocates opponents. That grind finally paid off when he won the title from Leon Edwards at UFC 304 in July.
Your boxing was so on point, man. It would look better than it's ever looked.
People just underestimate me when they look at me because they say, oh, he doesn't have a bunch of knockouts. But when you look at my fights and you see the way I pieced up a lot of these big names like Gilbert and Sean Brady, I beat them both on the feet. And for the Leon fight, my gym is small, but I work with, I think, who's the best striker in the UFC right now, Nacio Balmundez. Like, this kid is a monster. He probably has like
monster.
You saw, yeah, his spinning heel kick knockout. I'm sparring with this dude every single day. So I'm like, nothing that Leon was gonna throw at me was gonna surprise me.
Recently, Muhammad even reaffirmed that he'd be willing to vacate his welterweight belt if it meant Makachev could make his move up to 170. In his view, loyalty outweighs legacy. If he can successfully defend the title a couple more times, Muhammad believes he'll be in a position to move up to middleweight, a division he described as easy for him, and leave the welterweight crown to his friend. His comments weren't meant as disrespect to the middleweight roster, but rather as a show of confidence in his ability to succeed across weight classes. The idea of Muhammad moving to 185 pounds would be a major shakeup in the UFC's hierarchy, with Khamzat Chimaev also floating between divisions and the middleweight title picture lacking a dominant figure. Muhammad might actually have a shot at becoming a double champ himself. He envisions a future where he and Makachev can reign simultaneously in adjacent divisions without ever having to square off against one another.
I feel like I'm at the point now where if I get 2 title defenses, I could start looking to move up. When I'm looking at 85, I think it's an easy division for myself. I don't think it would be a problem. So me and this, I could go double champ back to back.
Adding further insight to the mix is MMA legend Georges St-Pierre, who offered an intriguing breakdown of the upcoming Muhammad versus Dela Maddalena bout. GSP, who will be cornering his Tristar teammate Ayman Zahabi in Montreal, shared that he believes people are underestimating Muhammad's overall MMA skill set. While most view the fight as a classic striker versus grappler matchup, St-Pierre sees Muhammad as much more than just a wrestler. He believes Muhammad's unorthodox striking could pose serious problems for someone like Dela Maddalena, whose rhythm and timing are among his greatest assets.
Jake on the other side, he's on a tear. He's got a good momentum. He's on a winning streak, and it's gonna be an interesting fight. On the one side, Jake, I think he could have the advantages if in the striking department, but it's not only a kickboxing match; it's mixed martial art, and that's when. I believe if I'm Belal Muhammad, that's where you take advantage of it. I think he's got more tools to win, but that doesn't mean he's gonna win. So it's all about how they're gonna match their style against each other.
According to GSP, the real key to this fight lies in how well Muhammad can disrupt Maddalena's boxing flow. If Muhammad can land clean shots and keep Maddalena guessing, he might just outstrike the striker. However, GSP also made it clear that Dela Maddalena is a real threat, especially if he can keep the fight standing. His sharp boxing, composure, and power could be enough to end the night early if he connects cleanly.
I mean, it's always about cracking the code, you know, and he's the champion for a reason. That means nobody has cracked the code so far. And Belal has a style, he's very aggressive. He put a constant forward pressure, and he make guys fighting on their heels. And he's very good at changing level and changing the momentum of the fight. And that's his main asset. That's his bread and butter. And Jake on the other side is a very good striker. I mean, they both match. I don't know how it's gonna go. To tell you the truth, it's a very interesting matchup. You know, but it's, as you say, it's not as simple as saying, oh, it's striking versus grappling, because it's not. The striking in MMA is very different. It's not only about like a kickboxing fight. There's takedowns. There's so much things involved, and the distance is different.
During a recent discussion on their podcast, Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo analyzed the upcoming welterweight clash between Balal Muhammad and Jack Dela Maddalena, offering contrasting yet insightful takes. Usman brought attention to Maddalena's often overlooked resilience, noting how the Australian managed to remain composed and undeterred even when pressured. Reflecting on Maddalena's previous fight against Gilbert Burns, Usman acknowledged how despite being taken down repeatedly, Maddalena's persistence paid off with a late knockout, a moment Usman viewed as evidence of his mental toughness and striking superiority. While Usman gave Muhammad the advantage in grappling and positional control, he argued that Maddalena's striking could level the playing field more than many anticipate.
Striking wise, I think JDM is much better than Belal. I think Belal will probably has kicks and all of those little strikes, but as far as throwing hands, as far as relaxation there, as far as setting the traps with the striking, I think JDM is definitely a little bit more seasoned, or even better there in that aspect. But it's an intriguing fight. I don't think it's a landslide that Belal is going to win the fight. I do think it's a very intriguing fight. Honestly,
Meanwhile, Cejudo offered a more conservative assessment. Though he recognized Maddalena as a legitimate threat, he favored Muhammad to win, likely by decision. In Cejudo's analysis, Muhammad's well-rounded skill set, his ability to fluidly shift between wrestling, striking, and octagon control, makes him a tough challenge over 5 rounds. Experience, in his view, would ultimately give Muhammad the edge.
No, I don't know enough about JDM. I've never really seen JDM in the nitty-gritty, besides that Gilbert Burns fight. I don't know, man. I like JDM. I like the sound of his Jack Dela Maddalena. It makes me want to dance. But I just feel like Belal is just too much, bro. Belal is he's too experienced, man. I think he's too problematic with his mixing of his fighting, and I think he knows how to close distance very well. And not just that, but he's gotten better too on top. His top control, working out with Khabib and all those guys, where he's been able to take a lot of that material. And I think I personally got Belal, man, winning by pretty much unanimous decision.
Outside the podcast, opinions remain divided. Daniel Cormier expressed strong belief in Maddalena's potential, framing him as a unique presence in the welterweight division with both the technical ability and mindset to take out an experienced opponent like Muhammad. He emphasized Maddalena's unbeaten UFC record and finishing instinct, suggesting this could be a turning point for the division.
Jack Dela Maddalena is a very exciting fighter. He's a tremendous striker, and he really does have all the skills in the world. My worry, or my thought, is with the way Balal Muhammad has been fighting recently, the pressure, the wrestling, he seems to be a nightmare of a matchup for Jack Dela Maddalena. But at the end of the day, fights happen for a reason. We don't know the result, and you never know what goes on inside that octagon, and Jack Dela Maddalena has the skills to unseat Balal Muhammad. It's a great fight, and it's a good fight for the division if Shavkat can't go. But again, it's one of those young guys, Cheo, that has worked his way up through the UFC. He's undefeated and now he's getting an opportunity to become a world champion.
Similarly, Robert Whittaker, another veteran fighter, expressed confidence in Maddalena's chances. Drawing parallels to the previously underestimated Muhammad versus Edwards bout, Whittaker viewed this matchup as far more competitive than it's being given credit for, and saw it as a possible breakthrough moment for the Australian.
I'm curious. Like, I'm so pumped JDM is getting that shot. I think like this fight is so winnable for him, so winnable, because you see, looking at it very, very casually, it's kind of, the matchup is kind of similar to Belal fighting Leon. All right, but I think JDM, especially after his fight with Burns, has obviously been working that kind of defensive game, been able to punch through it, right? But also, I think his close pocket fighting is better, so that when Belal closes that gap, which was giving Leon Edwards a lot of trouble, because Leon likes fighting on the outside, JDM doesn't like need to fight on the outside. He can fight very, very well inside. So when Belal closes that distance, that space, Jack may hurt him there.
Sean Brady, who previously faced Muhammad, admitted he's been backing Belal ever since their bout. From his perspective, Muhammad continuing to succeed only adds credibility to his own resume. Brady acknowledged Maddalena's grit and knockout ability, but maintained that Muhammad has a way of overcoming obstacles. He predicted that Belal's consistency would carry him through once again. Still, Brady added that if Muhammad doesn't get the win, he'd welcome a rematch with him to establish the next top contender. Daniel Rodriguez echoed a similar sentiment. Despite recognizing that Maddalena has built serious momentum in the division and has been dispatching opponents with efficiency, Rodriguez said his instincts told him Muhammad might just edge the fight. For him, it felt like one of those close contests where experience and tactical control could sway the outcome.
He'll have the advantage and that'll be enough.
JDM's on a roll, man. He's been, doing his fucking job. And yeah, man, I don't know. I just think maybe Belal might take this one.
Jamahal Hill also sided with Muhammad. Though he gave Maddalena credit for his boxing and durability, Hill pointed out a specific flaw in Maddalena's game: his difficulty in closing the distance effectively. Hill believed that if Muhammad stays composed and uses range to his advantage, he can dictate the tempo and blend in his grappling to put Maddalena on the back foot.
MMA Pros pick.
No question, I got to go with Belal Muhammad. Jack is a beast, and he does present some problems as far as with the boxing and things like that go. But I believe his one of his deficiencies is covering distance. I mean, closing the distance and closing the range. So I believe if Belal keeps a good distance in between, it makes him actually have to work to get to him. It'll make it easier for him to get, to get off into what he likes to do, which is make people work and put them in that blender work piece.
Meanwhile, Curtis Blades focused more on the psychological side. He backed Muhammad to retain his title, citing the veteran's ability to stay sharp in high-pressure moments. Blades referred to Muhammad's composure in unusual situations, like competing at odd hours on massive events, as evidence of the mental strength that could be the deciding factor in a tightly contested battle.
I'm gonna go with Belal. I think him having that experience, that weird fight night, pay-per-view experience, having a fight at 5 a.m., I don't think there's anything harder than that. So I think mentally he'll have the advantage and that'll be enough.
No matter the result, UFC 315 promises to answer several key questions that have been lingering over both divisions. Will Balal Muhammad prove he's the most well-rounded welterweight on the planet? Can Jack Dela Maddalena back up the hype and complete his meteoric rise? Will Islam Makhachev stay at lightweight, or will he finally make his move toward two-division greatness? One thing is certain, the aftermath of UFC 315 will have ripple effects across the UFC. From title defenses to new challengers and potential vacated belts, the picture is about to become a whole lot clearer. For now, all eyes are on Montreal. So what are your thoughts about this? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.